What's the difference between bracket and dot notation?
Whenever we need to access an object's properties, there are two key ways we can go about it. The first being dot notation. Dot notation is when you refer to the object's name first, followed by a dot. For example, if I created an object named car and it contained a property named color and a value of blue assigned to it. In order to pull that color value and log it to the screen, using dot notation works perfectly. For example, if we follow the rules listed above, we must reference the object's names like this: car dot, followed by the property name that contains the value, which will be, in this case, car dot color. Using that same logic, we can use bracket instead of the dot and put the value of that property, the name of that property, inside of those brackets to get the value back as well. But in order to do that, that property must be within a string. So it would look like car bracket string, and inside of that string color, in order to get that value. And in terms of arrays are at zero index. So in order to access them, you must use bracket notation followed by the index position.
What's the advantage of having an object delegate its method lookups to its prototype instead of having the object created with methods as properties?
Generally, when creating objects, you must add your properties manually. However, if I wanted to create another object that has the same capabilities or properties of my previous object, I would still have to hard code that information inside my new object. For example, if I created a Nissan car object that was able to drive, blow air, etc., and I want to create a truck object that can do the same thing, instead of manually hard coding that information again, I could create create a new instance of that car object, which will have the same properties as the car. Save me time.
Explain how JSON.stringify is different to something.toString.
The toString method normally it converts the data inside of your data type as a string. For example, using it on an array with numbers inside of it, if I want to say that array dot toString, if 1, 2, 3 was inside that array, it would just return a string of 1, 2, 3. Versus using JSON.stringify, we would actually get the entire data type surrounded by a string as well. So we would not lose track of those brackets. That works also for functions, whereas toString does not work on functions. And that's it. Hey.